Okay, we're going to cover something being isoelectronic. Well, iso means the same. Number of electrons. Now, like what, let's see, an isosceles triangle, you're going to have two sides that are going to be equal. You know, that's what isoelectronic means. So, if we're going to do that, we're going to figure out which ones are actually isoelectronic with this. The only way I can make something isoelectronic is I'm going to have to put a charge on it. So, I think if you remember, we said negatives were losers, which means they lose electrons. So we have to figure out first who's going to be my gainers. Well, let's go ahead. No problems with this. So positives are losers, negatives are gainers. Basically, the goal of any element is to become a noble gas, which is the group that's got 8 valence electrons, or on the far right on your periodic table. Those are your noble gases. I'm choosing elements that are really close to this. So this is element number 18. What happens if I have something that's element number 17? Well, element number 17 is chlorine. How does it get to 18 electrons so it can become isoelectronic with argon? Well, I'm going to have one negative charge. That will be my 17 plus my gain 1, which is going to equal 18 electrons. So you're going to kind of follow the trend as I'm going. Well, let's go down one. How does oxygen become isoelectronic? Well, it needs to go 2 more to get to 18. So that's where its charge is going to come from. Now it's isoelectronic with argon. Let's go to phosphorus. And you're going to notice all these are in the same period. That's element number 15. How does it get to 18? Well, 15 plus 3 is 18 electrons. Let's go down one more. How about silicon? Or silicone, which is element number 14. How does it get to 18? Well, it's got to gain 4 electrons. So those are your charges. So you can tell if they're going to be isoelectronic pretty easily. Now let's go ahead and figure out the ones that are going to lose electrons to get to that isoelectronic status. Well, then you're going to have to go one above this 18. So these are my negatives because they're gainers, high energy. Then I'm going to go to the one above 18, which is potassium, which is element number 19. How do I go from there to 18? Well, now I'm going to be putting my lost electron. I can put it as a positive one, top one can be a negative one, or it's just negative and positive. So, with that one, I lost an electron, so I have 19, now I'm going down to 18 electrons. That's how it becomes isoelectronic. Let's say I go up one. Let's say I go to 20. Well, that one is lose. I'll put lose here so you kind of follow what I'm doing. So what happens when I lose 2 on 20? Now it becomes 18 electrons. How about if I go up 1, scandium? Well, that would start becoming a problem because scandium is going to have to be a positive 3 charge in order to do it. So it's going to be a little bit different on that. Actually, in that case, we would kind of ignore the middle part. We would go to gallium, but gallium's going to have some problems getting down to that number 18. So it's going to be very rare you're going to have to deal with that one. So that's how you figure out if something's isoelectronic, because that means all of these have the same number of electrons. So take a second, kind of look at that. They all go according to the same pattern. It gets a little trickier when you go to the middle. Let's say I want to do manganese. Manganese is number 25. This has a possibility of doing this, because then I would have to lose 7 electrons to get down to my 18 electrons here. But again, it becomes a little bit differently when you're dealing with the middle part. But again, you just look at your charges and look at your atomic number. Now let's go ahead and look at another one. And again, we're dealing with the neutral atom. So let's say I go up. Let's go KR. Is 36. That would be atomic number, protons, neutral atom, electrons. Now don't get it as a mass at the bottom. I'm just showing the electrons as being neutral. Okay, so again, I go through the same routine. It's kind of easy to figure that out. So let's see, we got the one next to it, which is bromine, which is element number 35. Put 35 over here. This is element number 36. What do I have to do with this one? Well, to get to 36, I'm going to gain 1 electron. So that's going to equal, I'll put a plus here, it's going to equal 36 electrons. Let's go to the next one, which is SE. You're going to see this is all pattern, which is really nice. How do I get to 36? I'm going to gain 2 electrons. That's equal to 36 electrons. Now you're going to notice also that on the right side of the periodic table, where I'm actually gaining electrons to get to the noble gas. That just shows that nonmetals gain electrons. Let's go 33, arsenic. How do I get to 36? So I went from 33 to 36 by adding 3 electrons. Again, these guys are gainers. They're becoming negative charged. How about going to the beyond it? See, you can't use 19 or 55 because it's really hard to get to 36, and you're not going to lose that many electrons. That's why it's kind of difficult to go to a different energy level. I have to go the one above to become isoelectronic. How do I get to 36? Well, now I'm going to lose 1 electron. 36 electrons. And SR, which is number 38. What am I going to lose to get to 36? 2 electrons. They're all isoelectronic. So that kind of shows you have to really pay attention to where your atomic number is, and then adjust it in order to get to the noble gas, which is what you're going to have in most cases. Again, you got to be careful with it, but again, it's a pretty easy concept.